Greetings. Join me today as we explore the spine within the earth and the spine within us. What I'm about to share came to me the other night as an experience in the dream state. One that felt very direct, embodied, and impossible to ignore. In that dream, I encountered an indigenous masculine presence, and he was from the Andes. There was no teaching spoken, no explanations given. Instead, there was a moment of contact. He held me, and in that embrace, my entire spine came alive with an electrical vibration. It moved through me like a current, awakening something I did not even realize had been dormant. When I woke up, the sensation had faded, the knowing remained. It felt as though something had been shown through me, through the body. Since that moment, I have felt a deep responsibility to understand and to share what came through in that encounter. As I began to reflect, I was drawn to the Andes as a sacred presence, not a place. And when I really looked, I saw something I had never consciously recognized before. They resemble a spine. A vast living spine running along the body of the earth. This realization was symbolic and energetic. In Andean wisdom, mountains are not seen as inert. They are living beings, presences that hold intelligence, memory, and relationship. For the earth itself is alive. And if the Andes are the earth spine, then what does that say about us? It began to unfold within me that the human body is not separate from the earth, but is patterned in the same image. Our spine is our inner mountain range, the central axis through which life moves, through which awareness rises, through which connection is made between what is below and what is above. Across many traditions, the same understanding appears. The spine carries a current, a force, a potential for awakening. What I experienced in the dream, the electrical vibration, aligns with what many traditions describe as the activation of this inner current. What felt most important was not just the energy that I was feeling, but how it was awakened. It was not something I was trying to do, and most certainly not something I achieved through any effort. It came through relationship, through contact, through being held, through presence. This is what I feel is the heart of the teaching itself that came through to me. Awakening is not something we force. It's something we enter into relationship with. The body is not a barrier to spiritual experience. It is the very place where it happens. What I am now exploring and what continues to unfold from that moment is something that feels both simple yet very profound. Awakening is not about leaving the body. It is about inhabiting it more deeply until it reveals its connection to everything. In this way, the spine reveals itself differently. It is no longer just bone and nerves. It becomes the bridge, the mountain, the living axis, and the energy we sometimes call Kundalini or life force or spirit. It is the same force that shapes mountains, that moves rivers, and breathes life into the earth. What is beginning to open for me now is that this current is not only energy, but is awareness itself. It is consciousness moving through form. It is the movement of being, becoming aware of itself within the body. The spine then is the ladder of awareness, and I actually did a video about the ladder of consciousness previously in this channel, if you want to dig for that one. It's also a place where perception deepens, a place where identity shifts from something separate into something connected, alive, and whole. This brings a deeper layer of understanding through scripture, one I spoke of many times in this channel. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you, and it's outside of you. And this points directly to that inner reality, something that can be felt, lived, and realized within the body itself. This understanding has been coming through me for quite some time now. In my previous video, A Brief Moment in Eternity, and in many other videos that I have shared, I speak of the same concept from different perspectives, trying to find a language for something that is ultimately beyond any words. What I'm beginning to see more clearly is that this kingdom is not a place we go to. It is a state of being we awaken to. This state is revealed as we come into deeper relationship with our sacred bodies, with our awareness, and with the living presence within us. I also want to share something that feels important in this unfolding. I came to the work of Lars Moll years ago, and I resonated with his teaching straight away. There was something in his work that felt familiar, something that spoke directly to this inner knowing. Since then, I have been using his prayers in my daily life. Me and my children pray them every night, and it has become a living part of how we connect, how we come into presence together. I have also shared these prayers with many of the people I work with in my sessions, and I have seen how deeply they can support others in coming into the same awareness. More recently, I received an email inviting me to take part in a call with him, and the focus of that conversation was the kingdom of heaven. It felt like a continuation of something that had already begun to unfold within me. In his teachings, the kingdom of heaven is understood as something that is not separate from us, something that is realized through inner awakening. It is a direct experience of presence, of unity, of knowing. This resonated deeply with what I had already been experiencing. As I have been sitting with this understanding, something else has begun to emerge. Something closer to where I am physically located. If the Andes reveal themselves to me as a spine of the earth, I began to wonder if there are other spines, other places where the same vertical current expresses itself through the land. This is what led me to come across what is sometimes called the Spine of Albion, a name used in certain traditions to describe an energetic current that runs through Britain, a kind of subtle axis connecting ancient sites and moving through the body of the land in a way that mirrors the central channel of the human body. What I found was interesting. The spine does not run exactly where I am. It moves more through the central body of the country, while I find myself on the western edge near the coast. At first, this felt like a disconnect, and I was a bit sad about it. But the more I sat with it, the more something deeper became clear. The earth does not have only one spine, it has many currents, many pathways, many ways that energy moves, gathers, and expresses itself through the land. And just like in the body, not all energy flows only through one central line. There are channels, networks, and spaces where the current spreads out, becomes more subtle, more diffuse, but no less alive. Living in the northwest of England, I began to sense that this land holds a different quality. Not a single defined axis like the Andes, but a field, an openness where the energy is less structured and perhaps more felt than mapped. This brought me back to my original experience in a new way. What I felt in my spine was not tied to one place. it was not limited to the Andes or to any one location on Earth. It was a universal current, one that expresses itself through mountains, through land, and through the human body in many different forms. Andes showed it to me as a clear spine. The land I stand on now is teaching me to feel it as a field. And both are so true. There is a further depth that is continuing to reveal itself. The spine is something we awaken through recognition, through knowing, through allowing ourselves to fully be with what is already here. This shifts everything. Awakening is no longer about leaving the body or transcending the world. It becomes about inhabiting the body more fully, listening more deeply, and recognizing that what we are seeking is already present within us. I do not claim to have mastered or fully understood this. What I share comes from being in relationship with it, continuing to listen, to feel, and to learn. What feels clear is that this experience was not random. It was an invitation to feel the spine not just as part of our body, but as part of the earth. An invitation to recognize that the same intelligence that shapes mountains lives within us. An invitation to remember that we are not separate from this living world, but deeply and intrinsically connected to it. And perhaps this is the real teaching, that within each of us there is a spine that is sacred, a living axis that connects us to the earth, to spirit, to something vast, alive, and intelligent. And that this axis is not leading us somewhere else. It is revealing what has always been here, the presence within, the awareness within, the life within. And when it awakens, even for a moment, it reminds us of who we are. And I want to leave this with a reminder for you to reflect on in the next few days. Truth did not come into the world naked, but it came in types and images. When you abide in Him and Him in you, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is what I feel called to share at this time, as the opening of something that is yet to unfold. May we be among those who renew the world, and so it is.